right, let us begin now with our quick coherence technique and heart focused breathing, actually. So let us begin by placing our awareness in the area of our heart. And take slow, deep breaths. Visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. Breathing a little slower, a little gentler than you normally would. And just breathe slowly and gently. Allow these breaths to just become a part of you. Slow, deep breaths. Make these breaths symmetrical. If you take 5 seconds to breathe in, take 5 seconds to exhale. Slow breathing allows your body to purge all the excesses it does not require right now. Slow, deep breaths. And visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. And as you take these slow, deep breaths, know that the heart pumps out the blood which goes through your lungs, picks up fresh oxygen because you've just taken a nice deep breath of fresh oxygen around you. This blood is receiving this fresh oxygen from your lungs before it distributes it to every part of your body. So every cell in your body is now receiving fresh oxygen just from this breath technique. Imagine what you would do, or what your body could do, if on top of that fresh oxygen you inject a regenerative emotion, which is also carried to the rest of your body. We will do that for the second part of breathing technique. But for now, just get into this smooth breathing technique, which is called the heart-focused breathing technique. Take slow, deep breaths and visualize these flowing in and out of your heart, breathing a little slower, a little gentler than you normally would. And see if you can connect to the natural vibration of the space around you. See if you feel its vibration and become harmonious with it. In practice, with practice, I should say, you should be able to do that. Slow, deep breaths. Visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. Breathing a little slower, a little gentler than you normally would. Keep breathing slow and deep. Gently. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing these first 5 minutes with me. And now let us get into our topic. And this is about the key to navigating rough waters. Today's topic is essentially the key to navigating rough waters. And so many of us have made resolutions this year. Some of us have established intentions. perhaps not resolutions, but perhaps established intentions. In either case, if you've written them down or not written them down, if you've written them down, it's a lot more probable that you will achieve your goals. Even if you haven't written them down, you know that it's not going to be that easy to meet your resolutions. If it was that easy, you've picked the wrong resolution. So whatever your resolution is, whatever your intention is this year, today's topic is all about how to navigate through the rough waters, because invariably, if you've picked the right resolution, you will come across challenges. And those challenges, once surmounted, will then allow you to build that mastery. So let us talk about navigating through tough times. And I want to show you today a very simple technique of navigating through tough times. And the simple technique is a simple checking in with your body and what yes feels like and what no feels like. And it's this simple technique that will get you through some rough times. And here's an example of how it has been used in the past using the quick coherence technique, or a more advanced version of that, but it is a coherence building technique. It was used by Gregg Braden. Now, many of you know Gregg Braden as a scientist who has, I think 2 or 3 times a New York Times best-selling author. And during the September 11 attacks, he was in New Zealand or somewhere outside the US, and he was flying into US and flying into New York, actually. And this was about the time after the airports had been opened for arrivals, after they had secured everything in the airport. They allowed flights to come in. Greg was supposed to board a flight from New Zealand over to New York, and the flight attendant basically said to him that he can bow out of going there, or go there and take his chances. And at that time, we didn't know, the world didn't know what would happen if you did go to this particular area. So he took a second aside, and he did use the technique where he did the deep breathing technique, the ones that you practiced earlier today, and the ones you will practice after this particular chat. And when he did the deep breathing technique, what he did was he asked his heart this question. He said, "Is it safe to board?" And his heart responded with that. So let us now find out what our calibration is for asking this question to our heart. He ended up going to New York, and everything was fine. Actually, he had no problem getting through because the airport was empty, there were no traffic, he could get a taxi cab very easily. So it all worked out for the best. How do you get your body to respond to what is right for you? And the first step is to connect with your body. So let us start to recalibrate our body. So we're going to take the next 1 minute we have to tell you the technique, and then we're going to practice it when we do our quick coherence technique, which is in the next 5 minutes. So we'll combine the two parts of this particular broadcast. So the first thing I want you to do is, when I ask you when you get into your heart space, which we will in about a minute, when we do the quick coherence technique, I am going to say words like yes or words like no. And I want you to tune into your body, what that feels like. And whatever that feels like is your calibration for yes, that is correct, that is accurate, that is truth for you in that moment. And when I say no or anything that's negative, tune into your body and see what that feels like in your body. But the step 1 is to actually get into that heart space. So when you do the breathing technique, then you ask the question, your body will respond more accurately than if you were just responding from fear. So whenever we are in the state of fear, we must be able to get back into the heart space, which I'll show you next. And once we get into that heart space, then we would respond, we would ask this question, and then we would follow what this question is, and then we have to trust. All right? So let us begin our breathing technique, which is the quick coherence technique. And I will walk you through connecting with your body. And then I'll check the chat area to answer your questions if you have any. All right? So let us do this combined practice right now. Place awareness in the area of the heart and just take slow, deep breaths. Visualize these flowing in and out of your heart, just like you did before. Slow, deep breaths. And just visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. Breathing a little slower, a little gentler than you normally would. Beautiful. Slow, deep breaths. And now experience a regenerative feeling of love, compassion, appreciation, gratitude. Just experience this wonderful feeling in your heart. Recall past experiences that gave you this amazing feeling. Put a gentle smile on your face to help accelerate this process. If you have visited the Happy Thoughts channel Facebook page, recall a video you saw from that really made you smile or laugh. And this is what we want. We want to bring that experience to you. And remember what I said earlier, is as you take those slow, deep breaths, the blood that carries this fresh oxygen from your lung also carries these emotions to every cell in your body, which activates the right genes in your cellular structure, so that you actually create anti-aging, rejuvenating hormones. So create this for yourself right now. And now I want you to tune into your body, and I'm going to say some words that may be that may make you feel great. They may make your feelings anxious. And I want you to find out in your body what that feels like when it feels great, and when you hear words that trigger you, and separate the two and know that that is your calibration of yes and no in your body. So as you take these slow, deep breaths and you experience regenerative emotions, I'm going to throw these words out at you. Fear, anxiety, the threat of nuclear war, sadness, gratitude, elation, hopeful, optimistic, yes, abundance, compassion, playful, slow, deep breaths. And now stay in that positive, regenerative emotion state for the duration of this practice. Slow, deep breaths. And visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. Breathing a little slower, a little deeper than you normally would. Experiencing regenerative emotions. Excellent. Thank you so much for participating for this 15 minutes of your Monday morning espresso shot. I appreciate you joining me today. And if you have any questions, perhaps you can share with us how you felt through the chat area, how you felt when I used the words that created anxiety or may have triggered you, and the words that were regenerative emotions that we use when we do our quick coherence technique. So perhaps you can share in the chat area with the rest of us how that exercise felt, whether you felt a difference in your body. You see, when you feel a difference in your body, that means your body's able to communicate with you through that subtle feeling that you have. And so this would be wonderful to hear how you experience this in your body. And of course, if you have no questions, we can certainly close this off here right now. But if you have any questions, please do type those in. Would appreciate that. Thank you, Natalie from Germany. Beautiful technique. I could feel my energy rising or shutting down. Wonderful. That's now you know how you tune in. And so what I would suggest everyone to do this week is to practice this. Practice this whenever you come up with a barrier or some sort of a stormy weather, navigating through rough waters is the theme today, is to take a minute and take the slow, deep breaths and just visualize these breaths flowing in and out of your heart and experience these regenerative emotions. Then ask yourself, is this the right direction? Does this feel good? And if it doesn't feel good, then you know that you have the response from the body. Then you can choose whatever you want to choose, but know that that is a response that comes from your body. I see Sandy has some comments. So I'll just go scroll up to see there's a few comments coming in. Sandy, you mentioned that you seem to feel the negative emotions in your throat, neck, and upper chest. Interesting. I think with every situation, you will feel similar. It may not be exactly the same experience, but you will know that these are not the feelings that I want, or the body is telling me something very interesting. And so thank you for that. Nancy, you mentioned the first set of words caused chills in you, and the second set, you felt yourself lifting up from inside out. That's beautiful. And you have a very strong indicator in your body if that's the case, because you're not even facing adversity right now. These are just some things that I've tossed out. So when you face adversity, these bookends will amplify some more. So you'll know what the right decision is once you tune into your body. Thank you. And we have Nancy, another Nancy. I felt more expansive with the positive words. Definitely a difference. Good. So now you are knowing how your body calibrates to the decisions you make when you face adversity. So, you know, a lot of times we go right to our brains and start analyzing this logically. But I want you to test it out this week. Go into your heart, connect your heart to your brain so you have the maximum efficiency using the entire body to actually tune into the situation and then feel your way through the solution. Wonderful. Epiphany. Wow, I felt negative so strongly that my headphones turned off. I could feel energy flowing from me. Good. You may want to, you know, it's interesting that a lot of you on this call are quite sensitive, and you guys are some of you are very empathic when it comes to feeling other people's energies and yourselves. And that is a good thing, and that could also throw you off your balance. So practice this technique and speak to your body, ask your body to actually give it to you in a way that you understand, but not muted too much. So not too amplified and not too muted. So you work with your body and it'll give you the signals you want if you just talk to it. Thank you from that. Sandy, you have a further comment. And the positive emotions in my lower chest and my heart. Felt a smile coming onto my face. Beautiful. And if that's what life makes you feel like, just makes you automatically experience a smile, you know you're in the right direction. Sometimes I have to kind of preface this by saying that sometimes your heart wants you to do something that's very difficult and may cause you some sort of angst. It's an ironic statement that I just made, is that it is more around courage. So if your heart tells you, let's do this, I know there's some uncomfortableness here, but you will be fine. We will be okay. And that's really a sense of courage that's coming up for you. If it feels good to do something unknown, and there's a bit of angst around that, you will be able to tell in your body that it is the right decision. So it's not as black and white as yes and no. If you feel some anxiety, but you also feel this uplifting feeling saying, you know, this is the right thing I need to do, and you feel that sense of courage coming up, that is also appropriate in that time. So there are many shades of yes and no. I want you to be able to discern whether that's a, no, I don't want to do this because I'm afraid, I'm not able to, or, oh, I feel a little hesitant, but I feel courageous enough. My heart tells me I shouldn't worry about this. So I want you to distinguish that subtleness as well. All right. Imi, your comments. Negativity was coming through my jaw and facial area, almost a cringing sensation. Positive emotions came through elation and smile. Wonderful. You're most welcome. Most welcome. So practice this this week and see how well you do when you navigate rough waters. I have no doubt that we are all going to experience rough waters to various degrees this week and for the rest of the year. This is a technique you can use to do that, and I applaud you trying this technique.